Hi, I'm Paula from Defend Survivors. Started Defend Survivors a couple years ago. It's basically just an advocacy blog that we started. And we started it to advocate for children that have been sexually abused to be believed, protected, and defended. We started it, and the inspiration for it was based on a speech that my daughter wrote. And then it was also based on our experience. And so after that, what we found out was that nobody was talking about what we wanted to talk about. So I decided to talk about it. We decided this is the beginning of Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month. You're going to hear a lot of information during this next month. You're going to hear a lot of facts. So you're going to hear that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before they turn 18. You're going to hear that 90% of children know the person that will abuse them. You're going to hear that there are 42 million survivors in the United States. So you're going to hear a lot of facts like that. But the facts that you're not going to hear is what I want to tell you about. And that's what happens after a report. Everybody talks about prevention and recognition and reporting, getting reports. They don't talk about what happens after a report. The statistic you're not going to hear is that 19 to 29% of reports of child sexual abuse will be arrested. So that's 29% of the children that have reported. Their report will lead to an arrest of their abuser. So that means that that's just a fourth, around a fourth, are going to have their abuser arrested. The rest are not. They're never even going to be arrested. That doesn't mean that conviction or prosecution, just even simply fingerprinted and arrested. That number drops to 19% if the child is under 6 years old. So that you're not going to hear that anywhere. You're not going to hear 19 to 29% of reports lead to arrest. Another statistic you're not going to hear is that less than 3% are going to get convicted. So 19 to 29% are going to get arrested, and less than 3% are going to get convicted. So you're going to hear all kinds of information over the next month, and they're going to talk about prevention, which is great. If we can prevent it, that's great. We're going to hear about recognizing the signs, and you're going to hear about reporting. But every one of those things leads to a report, which leads to the justice system. And when you get to the justice system, if only 19 to 29% of the children are having their abuser arrested, that means about 75% of abusers will never even be arrested. So my question is, don't those statistics, 19 to 29% get arrested, less than 3% are going to get convicted, doesn't that affect every other statistic? Doesn't that affect why there's 42 million survivors in the world? Because they're coming in, the children are reporting. They're taking the ultimate risk to walk in the door, to sit down in a room, to be recorded, and to actually say what happened to them, to actually say the abuser's name. And then nothing's going to happen. Except nothing's not actually what happens, because what happens is that there's consequences to that. And you've left an abuser free to do and be out. You've left them empowered to do what they were doing because they know they're not going to get arrested. You've left a community at risk, and you've left a child devastated because they did what we asked them to do. They came in, they told, and then nothing happened. You're also going to see a lot of information about see something, say something, do something. The fact is, there are so many people that do that. Obviously we need more. There's no excuse for somebody not reporting if they know something is happening. But the facts are that a lot of people do report. So many teachers report. So many counselors report. And then what happens is their report goes nowhere. And there was a study done in South Carolina, and what happened, they asked them, why are there so few reports? And several of the people there said they stopped reporting because they knew nothing was going to happen, and they knew they weren't going to meet the criteria. So if the child does report, and then the mandatory reporter reports, and then nothing happens, and the child gets put back in the care of the abuser, then it just makes everything worse. So a lot of the mandatory reporters and teachers said they just stopped reporting because it was making things worse. You know, that's the whole purpose of the report, is to stop the abuser and to protect the child. And so what's happening is the child's coming in and they are taking this ultimate risk to do what they're doing, but it's not stopping the abuser. And what I've been told is that many children are put back in the care of the abuser. So we're going to talk about some of the things that we don't hear anybody else talking about. We're going to talk about the truth. Like I said, you're going to hear a lot of information during this next month, but we're going to come in and we're going to talk about what happens after the report, because what happens after the report is just as important as getting the report to be made. We hope that you'll follow along with us on our website, which is defensesurvivors.org, and also on the social media on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and it's all Defense Survivors on all of those. And we hope that you will join us, because we want every child to be believed, protected, and defended. Thank you.